Welcome back to another episode of Girls Know Nothing. I feel like this has been a long-awaited episode. I've had a lot of DMs actually for the whole time I've had this episode to have you on the podcast. I feel like you don't need an introduction because everyone knows you as Nation's sweetheart.
Oh, thank you.
From Love Island. But introduce yourself anyway.
Have I ever told you that I'm really awkward at accepting compliments?
Do you know what, actually? I feel like I should already know that.
Yeah, honestly. But like with guys that I'm seeing, it's even worse. But anyway, moving on.
We'll get to that bit.
We'll get to it. I'm Liberty Poole, and you may know me from Love Island or Dancer Nights. And I'm happy to be here today to talk about all things women, positivity, and tackle some issues that are going on right now.
Yeah, I think, do you know what, actually, one of the reasons why people were so keen to have you on here is because you were definitely portrayed, and you are in person, definitely a girl's girl. You know, you stuck by your morals through the whole way through the show. And there are a lot of questions that we'll get to about your time on the show. But, you know, I want to know a bit more about you, because I think one of the positive comments we do get about people that have been on Love Island is that we get to see the real them.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, when you said you did A-level chemistry, I was like, what? I want to know about you. Like, what was young Lib like?
I feel like I've always been like quite switched on in terms of like I'm quite emotionally like intelligent and stuff. I will say that I'm probably not street smart and I'm not good at DIY, but
we've seen that. We've seen that.
With emotional intelligence and stuff, like I'm good at that. And obviously throughout school, I was classed as like academically smart. So I was actually the top girl in my year for grades. And I got pupil of the year. And I was the top girl in my whole year for grades. I got 9 A's, an A star, and a B.
I think, do you know what? It's really weird. When we did that like Mr. and Mrs. game and we like everyone found that out, they were like, what?
Yeah, I know, it's a shock. But you know what it is? When people know, it's like my personality doesn't match my like
it's very legally blonde.
It's very legally blonde. I am literally like, she's me, I'm her. Like it's very legally blonde because I think people assume because I'm a bit ditzy and like a girly that I'm not going to be smart, which is stereotypes. And even like when I was in a work setting at Nando's, I would just be like sort of dismissed as like, oh, you didn't get them grades. And it's like, no, I did. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, like obviously at A-levels I done biology, chemistry, psychology. Now A-level grades weren't as good as my GCSEs because I found out what partying meant with the girls at college. So yeah. But
what did you want to be growing up then?
So I actually wanted to be a paediatrician.
Okay, interesting. I would never have had you down as that.
A doctor specialising in like children's needs, because I always like love kids, like growing up and stuff. And I always like obviously was really good with them. And I wanted to be a doctor. But at that time, I feel like when you're at school and stuff, you have all these pressures of like, what do you want to be when you're older? Every week, it's like, what am I working towards? What do you want to be when you're older? And you get sort of made to feel in school like if you don't get these grades, like you will not succeed in life.
Yeah.
Like almost like it's be or end all.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
So for me, obviously, I just was like, okay. And I had doctors writing as well. Like my writing's awful. So I thought it's meant to be.
Written in the stars, that.
Yeah, so obviously I done that. And then I just lost the passion for science at A-level. And I didn't really know where I wanted to go. And this is going to sound really weird, but I'm a bit of a crazy gal. So I'm just going to say this. I had a dream one night.
Right, every time I've ever heard you say I've had a dream, it freaks me out. It's awful.
No, like Martin Luther King, I had a dream.
Yeah.
I had a dream. And Simon Cowell was in this dream.
Oh God. Okay. Right, go on.
And basically he was like, you need to do like marketing. It was so weird. And then after that, I woke up knowing that I wanted to do like marketing.
I love that. Simon Cowell in my dream told me to do marketing.
I know. So basically then I went to uni. And I did marketing for 2 years and I loved it because I feel like I got to like use my creative side as well. And it was something that I was like passionate about. And then I was like, obviously COVID hit. And I'd always considered maybe doing Love Island. Like people say, oh my God, you should do it. Like you'd be good on it. But it's one of them things that you're like, yeah, it's never going to happen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can say that, but it's never going to happen. And I was visiting my mum because my mum lives abroad in Abu Dhabi. I got a message from management basically saying, would you be interested in going on Love Island? And obviously at the time I was like, you know what? I'd come out of like a long-term relationship. So I would never have done it before that because I was in a relationship with someone, which was quite long-term for an 18-year-old. It was like 3 years, something like that.
Yeah.
On and off for like 3 years. So obviously I'd come out of that. And then I just felt like, you know what? Like, what have I actually got to lose? Like, why not just go for it? So I remember doing my audition tape in like the January of 2021, and I'd put on my Nando's uniform and I stuck like a periometer on my wardrobe in my room.
I feel like I've seen your audition video actually.
You know what? I lost all this content on my phone, so I don't know if I still have it. But it was like, obviously, you know how it goes from like lemon and herb to extra hot?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, all the guys I've dated in the past have been lemon and herb. I need an extra hot guy in Love Island and all that. And I think that's the key. Like you need to make it personal to you. Don't try and be like anyone else. Just do what feels right and suits you when you're doing like an audition tape. And I thought, I'm going to send it off. And I was like optimistic, but I was being realistic. I was like, I'm going to hope for the best and expect the worst.
Yeah, because we remember there's so many people that apply.
Yeah, there's so many people, like so many people. And I just went through like the process bit by bit and I was like, okay, cool. And then, like obviously I got the call to be like an OG and I was ecstatic, but I literally feel like I'd been plucked from thin air. Do you know what I mean? I never was an influencer before this. I didn't have any experience in this field, social media, nothing. I used to post a picture of me when I used to go on a night out with the girls. That was it. That was my Instagram. Like I didn't have any experience. And I literally feel like, oh my God, like I'm literally a waitress at Nando's in Birmingham and a marketing student. Like I'm such a random person. Do you know what I mean? But I got picked and it was just like mad. And then obviously I just went on thinking, I'm just going to do it for the experience. I know like people say, oh, well, you know what? I did it for the money or I did it for this, I did it for that. I generally did it just for the experience of it being like, you know, wow, this show that you watched and then, you know, I watched for years before and what it's going to be like. And I thought I'm going to go on and if I'm out in a week, I'm out in a week. But at least I can say it was an experience and I did it. And then I went in, obviously like met Jake, got on with Jake at the time and then just thought, and then cracked on with it. And it was nice because I think for me, at that moment in time, I didn't have a lot of self-esteem. Yeah. Coming out of a relationship where, like, obviously I got cheated on and maybe a few comments didn't make me feel the best about myself. So, like, to just know that the public supported me and I had just been myself was such a huge compliment. And it was just so nice as well because in there you do doubt yourself because you get advice from people. But in the back of your head, you are thinking, okay, are you giving me this advice because you're being genuine towards me? Or are you being manipulative and you're in here for a game? Yeah, you do 100%. Think that? So at the time I was like, that was what I found hardest in there. So, but I just went with my gut instincts. And then to come out and sort of have what I was feeling in there, my gut instincts confirmed, it was almost like, okay, Lib, like, you need to fucking, sorry, that's all right. Drop that out. You need to like trust yourself more. Yeah. And believe in yourself more. Believe in like, you know, your gut instincts, believe in who you are more. And it just proved that to me.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that I did want to talk to you about is what life is like after Love Island. Obviously, we've seen a lot floating around social media and online about the realities of being a reality star. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you said people always doubted how intelligent you are. Yeah. I get it now. So, like, even when I do press interviews, you know, I had a very well-established career before going on Love Island. Like, you know, you were very academic. Mm-hmm. Do you ever find that people automatically assume that you're stupid because you have that Love Island label?
Yes, I feel like people that go on Love Island sort of have stigmas of looking a certain way and being a certain type of person. I feel like the key thing from Love Island and things in general is that you cannot categorize a person to a stereotype or a person to a certain way of life because so many people have so many different aspects for them. And yeah, I'm ditzy, but I'm also switched on. Yeah. And everyone has different sides. So you can't just be like, oh yeah, they're like this and they're like that. Like people are so individual and have so many different sides and personality traits that it doesn't work like that. And I feel like, yeah, like obviously coming out of Love Island after the show, I went in at 21.
Do you find that was very young?
In a way, at the time I thought I was grown up, but looking back, yeah. In terms of, I'd only had one relationship. I hadn't really had that much life experience. I've had to learn, so like this industry has made me grow up fast. Like, as in, I went from being naive and trusting in everyone and an oversharer with everyone.
Don't I know that?
Yes, I'm an oversharer with literally like every person, to literally having to wisen up, almost being forced to like, get with it, Lib, come on, wisen up now. And being strong as well, because I feel like I was quite fragile. I was a bit of a people pleaser. Not people pleaser, but I didn't like to hurt people's feelings. And I always like to keep everyone sweet because I'm not a confrontational person naturally. So that's how I was. But now, a year later, I've definitely grown up and matured a lot in the way I think and stuff. And I feel like because I've gone through so much in a year, that's definitely done that for me.
Yeah, because I can imagine the sense of responsibility or the pressure you feel when you come out of a show like that, and you left with 1 million followers, or was over 1 million. Did you feel the pressure to be able to live up to like what Love Island expectations are post the show?
Yeah, I feel like because I was like so busy coming out, like I was training for that. So the first month was mad. And then straight in October, I went to training for Dance and Ice 5 times a week, every day, which I don't think people realise how much the training is for that. So I was doing that like Monday to Friday, every day. Then even on my day off, I was doing like brand work and stuff. And I was just constantly busy doing the next thing, that my head was always like, go, go, go. And I didn't have the time that like maybe other people have processing coming out to think, right, where do I want to go with this? I've got this platform. What do I want to do with this? It was almost like, I don't know what to do. And then obviously, because I wasn't an influencer before, you see all these like, obviously like stunning girls, you know, their fashion sense is amazing. I haven't, like before I come out of Love Island, I hadn't even had to think about a stylist or anything like that. I just sort of wore what I wanted to wear. And now like you get thrown into this world where it's like fashion, makeup, you know, all this sort of stuff. And you're like, where do I slot into this? And for me, I'd say like about 4 months ago, I was in that sort of like lost mindset of, this isn't me. I'm not this posy fashionista on Instagram. So I had to really like do some like soul searching and go back to my roots after being busy and being like, right, what do I want to do with my platform? Where do I want to go with it? Who am I? Do you know what I mean? Like go back to my roots and stuff. And I feel like now I'm in a position where I know who I am, I know where I want to go, and I know exactly what I want to do. But it took that moment of busyness and calming down from that for a second to think, yeah, this is the direction to go in.
So a lot of people always say that, you know, when the next Love Island does come out, because the work dies down, because obviously the next best thing is out.
Yeah.
It takes a toll on their mental health because their work's dipped. Do you feel like it was actually beneficial to yours?
I feel like when obviously the next Love Island come out and stuff, you do get work come about still. So for me, it wasn't a worry at that time financially, but it was a worry at that time about longevity.
Okay, yeah.
In my case, because I was thinking, okay, right, I've made like obviously good money, which I didn't go on the show for, but I'm really grateful that that was an opportunity for me to do. But in the long term, I was thinking, what's going to go on next? And you do sort of think about like your next jobs and stuff. And I guess in my case and stuff, I was thinking I need to get a direction sorted of, because when you come out, you do get things thrown at you and sort of handed to you on a plate and stuff.
Yeah.
And you need to think about what direction you want to go in and what you want to do with your platform. So for me, I'm just literally taking it back to my roots and thinking, like, what do I want to do? And I definitely want to do more stuff that is linked to me, like being a girl's girl and showing girls as well that you don't always have to be dolled up. And that's why I've sort of been a bit more vocal about that recently on my social media, because coming out, that was a thing for me where I felt like, do I have to be this new glam celeb all the time as such? And that's a pressure that I dealt with myself when I feel like Instagram now needs to go more down the route of, this is me, this is what I'm up to, like, and to show girls that you can have normal natural days. Or that's why I'm trying to just show people like me eating foods, me with the sparklers at bonfire night.
Lib's mukbang channel coming soon.
Yeah. Just because I feel like you need to see that. It's not every day here I am looking 10 out of 10. Sometimes
don't I know that.
I've got like a cough, you know what I mean, right now, currently. It's not COVID, but it's a cough. And you're not on form all the time. It's okay to be like that. So yeah, that's definitely what I want to do more of.
What's your ideal thing? Like if your manager phoned you right now and said, I've got this for you and it's your dream thing, what would it be?
Okay, I would probably say that my dream job role, I'll be open and honest, I would love to do sort of like presenting.
Okay, any particular show?
I feel like I just see myself as like a girl's girl. So any like girly TV, like reality TV.
Isn't there that makeup show that's on like Netflix? I can't remember what it's called.
I'm not that good at makeup.
I don't think some of the people that host it are either.
Okay, that's all right then.
I could see you being on the panel of like RuPaul Drag Race.
Yes, I love that show or something like that. Because you know what it is about presenting? It's like sort of a profession when you have a routine. And as a disorganised girl, I feel like I need more routine in my life.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. When I tell you that Lib was the most annoying person to live with.
I am. Even my friends at home say it. No one can live with me. I'm that messy.
Every time we'd be like, I remember losing a shoe and being like, where's my shoe? And you'd open Lib's wardrobe, everything would come flying out, including everyone's missing items because you just scooped everything up and just forced it in.
Yeah, because the producers used to get you to tidy the wardrobe and I'm like, who's got time for tidying? Not me. So everything goes in there.
I was going on to the topic about when you were saying how you want to encourage people that they don't feel the need to be glammed up all the time. Mm-hmm. I do feel like when I was Googling you, which is also a very weird thing to say to somebody, it gives me the ick when someone says it to me. So sorry.
It's fine.
But like, I feel like you get a lot of unfair stick about your natural image.
You think? Yeah.
I think you do. Like when I saw the videos you put on social media about being told that you fell off after Love Island, I think that was that's a horrible thing to experience.
Yeah.
If you're not on a show.
I feel like because, like I said, with Love Island, people assume that you're going to be like UK's next top model. Like, obviously, being on Love Island or whatever, people assume that, attractive people are the only people that get selected for Love Island, etc., etc. And I feel like people expect you to be UK's next top model. So, like, the moment that people meet me in person, they will always comment on my looks and weight. Every day of my life, I get told, oh my God, you're so much skinnier in person, or you look so much better in person. And immediately, as a human being, my natural thoughts go to, what the hell do I look like on TV?
Yeah.
And it just makes you feel like insecure about what you look like on TV, because I'm thinking, every day of my life I'm getting told I look thinner or better. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like people might mean it in a nice way, but it does make you sort of like naturally conscious about stuff like that. And everyone's seen me with no makeup on TV, and I'll get told many times by, like, obviously people I know, oh, you're so pretty without makeup and this and that. But obviously there was an occasion when I went to the airport where I did get quite bad verbal abuse. Who goes to the airport in like heels and full glam? Sometimes I have, to be fair.
I was like, if anyone's going to have done it, it's you.
It is. But that day, I just wanted to go and because we was going out on the night, so I wanted to do my makeup when I got there, because we was arriving nighttime. And I literally just wanted to go out like no makeup, hair up, like I'll just do it. I had no fake tan at that point, like just completely like natural self, no lashes, nothing. I should be able to go to the airport, have a pint of Coca-Cola, full fat Coke before going on the plane, and have no dramas. Do you know what I mean?
When you said have a pint, I was thinking, all right, Liv, like, what happened to you?
A pint of full fat Coke. I'm more of a cocktail girl, but I do like a pint of full fat Coke. And I should be able to sit there in the airport at Wetherspoons with my pint of full fat Coke and be like, jolly, holiday, jolly, you know what I mean? Yeah. What they call the holiday hypes. They have the holiday blues, but I'm calling this the holiday hypes. The holiday hypes in the airport, and be jolly and doing this. I literally got shouted at going, Liberty from Love Island in the airport, and going, oh my God, what happened to you, babe? You've gone downhill. catfish, all this sort of stuff. And I was just like, it was a bit like, and my mate was like, ignore them. Like, obviously, they're just not nice people. But it wasn't the fact of, it was just shouting it across the airport.
Yeah, it's like public humiliation.
It's public humiliation. That's what it was. And like to then go on the plane and the air hostesses wanted a photo with me, and the air hostesses were saying to me that they were saying it to them as well. And it's just, I just want to be able to enjoy a 4-hour journey. They nearly got kicked off the plane as well, like, so there was trouble. But I just want to be able to enjoy like a 4-hour journey on my holiday. And I feel like for me, this was something that I actually like cried over.
Oh, babe, yeah.
Because I'd built it up, and I feel like sometimes being in the public eye as well, you can't always defend yourself because you don't want to like kick off in public, because next thing you know, there'll be like a spin on it and it's in the press that
there's a video.
You're in a fight at the airport. Do you know what I mean? So you have to obviously protect yourself as well in that respect. So I feel like I couldn't pipe up and I just have to deal with it. And I got on the coach, and I'm sure these girls didn't mean it in a nasty way, but after all that then as well, I was going on out the airport, and these girls pulled me over. Like, can we have a photo? And they were like, yeah. They were like, don't worry, we follow you on Instagram, put a filter on you. And I was just like, it's just so unnecessary. Like, and I think after all that, it just got to me then. And it did make me cry. I remember crying on the coach because I just think, like, I'm like 23 years old. I'm still learning about myself every day. I'm lucky to be assured and I know who I am at this age, but I'm still growing as a person. And to have insults thrown like that, it could be quite damaging to someone that isn't mentally strong enough to deal with it. So luckily I am, but I'm still human and I still did cry about it. And then I thought, you know what? I can go away from this and I can be Nancy negative and just like let it get to me, or I can actually voice my experience to help people know that this is normal to be like this. So I went on my socials with no tan, no lashes, hair scraped up, and was just like, this is me. I don't know if you see everyday glam pictures, but this is me. And since that experience happened to me, it's inspired me even more to go down the route of being real, because at the end of the day, people liked me for being me and nothing else but me. People like me because I was a girl's girl, because I was genuine, because I was a real person, which I still am. So me posting these like posed images of me looking glam, and don't get me wrong, I am a glam person. I am.
Oh, I've seen them heels, babe.
Yes.
We all know it.
The 6-inch.
Yeah, literally.
I brought in the 6-inch, the neck breakers. We all know that. But at the same time, like, I'm just a normal girl. I really am. And I think it's important for people to see that. So that's why now with my Instagram, I'm going down the more of the route of being wholesome.
It's really weird because I don't feel like blokes would ever shout that at another bloke that was on the show. Like, if any of the boys from our series were there with like a little bit late from a trim.
You know what's funny, Sharon? That night I went out in Tenerife and I seen them blokes, and the same blokes that shouted abuse were trying to flirt with me and talk to me.
Of course they fucking
on the night
were.
Out. So
of course they were. That's so. I'm embarrassed for you, by the way, if they're only watching. How embarrassing.
Yeah.
So I know, like, well, when you were talking about how in the public eye you sometimes find it really hard to defend yourself, we're seeing like a massive increase of like thefts and quite violent crimes happening to people in the public eye. And I think it was summer this year, both you and Kaz were in the US, and there was an article, or a fair few articles, about both of you being held at knife point while in the US. And I, obviously I'll let you explain like how it made you feel at the time. But I read an article and you said it made you reevaluate life.
It did. It really did. So obviously me and Kaz was on holiday with each other, and my granddad said to me, whatever you do, Libby, do not go downtown LA. Right. So my granddad gave me a warning beforehand.
So you went downtown LA?
So I went downtown LA. No, but basically we knew some friends out there.
Okay.
And they invited us to a dinner at their penthouse in downtown. And the Uber driver didn't speak very good English, and he dropped us off at the wrong point. So we had to walk up. Now me and Kaz are walking through downtown LA with like mini skirts, heels, neck breakers, as you called them, everything. And we were just walking, and obviously, like, we're tourists, so everything looks beautiful to us. Everything looks beautiful. Like, it's fresh on the eyes. Never seen this before. Yeah. So there was these lights in downtown LA. We were like, yeah, beautiful. Like, going to film it. So I'm literally like there with like my phone out, filming like the street. And it's like this woman come out of nowhere. Like it was actually like, it was bizarre. And she was like, you filming, this is like, I'm going to swear.
That's all right.
Okay.
Carry on.
She was like, are you filming me, bitch? Like this.
Oh my God, okay.
And I was just like so confused because imagine my camera's here.
Yeah.
And this,
So destroy the
set. Imagine my camera's here and this woman's coming from this direction.
Right, okay.
So it was just a bit like, what? And me and Kaz were like trying to process it. We were like, what is going on? And she was getting like more and more aggressive basically as she come closer to us. And she was like, I'll fucking kill you. I'll kill you. And basically, like, she was rummaging for a bag and she got this knife out. And at this point, me and Kaz were like, luckily, she dropped the knife.
Okay.
So at that point, as soon as she dropped the knife and I seen this knife on the floor, I was literally looking at Kaz. And you know when you're like, fight or flight mode kicks in? So my fight or flight mode kicked in and I was literally like, Kaz, we need to run. And these two lads luckily come over and started having a go at this woman. Now, I think she was either mentally ill or on drugs because the way she was acting was just so paranoid and almost like schizophrenic in terms of she was very like, just very out there and she just, I don't think she was actually in control of her own mind at the time. She was just really aggressive towards everyone that was going past. So like obviously me and Kaz, I said we need to go. So I start running down the road and Kaz is behind me, but I can see that Kaz is still trying to process everything that's going on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Kaz, let's go. Like we need to go. Like the woman's got a knife. It's not safe. So my first initial thought was, let's get us to a safe security point ASAP. So I run up to this couple and I'm like, please, please, please. Like, we just had a knife pulled out on us. Can you call the police? No, sorry, I didn't say that. I said, please, please, please. We've just had a knife pulled out on us. Help us, sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And they literally turn around and goes, call the police then. So I don't know if it's a normal occurrence in LA. Because they wasn't helpful. They just sort of like looked at me like, why are you bothering me? So more than wanting to help. So I ran into an Apple store and I told the security guard. And me and Kaz went in there and she was walking past and then I just seen all these police people go in. So I feel like after that, I think she got arrested. But then the security guard helped walk us back to the apartment. But that wasn't what changed the way I looked. It didn't. So after being like, that whole happened, like me and Kaz didn't process it properly. We sort of just got straight to the dinner and carried on because we was like, what just happened? Like we was in disbelief. And obviously I put it in my friend chat, like, guys, this just happened. I just wanted to let you know I love you all. Message my mum, message my family, because that's the first people you think of. And something like that happens. And my best mate rang me straight away, going, are you all right, Lib? Like, are you okay? And obviously like, then my other friends sort of said, are you all right? But it took them like a day or two to ask if I was all right, but they were checking all my socials.
Okay.
After that happened. So that for me was a realisation because I thought, and I'll be honest about this, if my friends had had that happen to them, I would have been straight there, ringing, no matter where I was, asking them if they was okay. But I think it was the fact that they were checking my socials and never asked me if I was all right.
Yeah.
And it made me think, all this time, I've been putting people first and I don't even know if they care about my well-being.
Yeah.
Now, since then, I've sorted this out. But I think that was that changed me.
Yeah, because I remember when the article first came out and I rang both of you.
To see if we was okay.
But
I'm going to get emotional about it.
Oh, babe, don't. Because I'll start crying as well. Because I'm ill. I'm very
it makes me feel emotional, but I do think that massively changed me from April 2021 in terms of I just thought I really need to start putting myself first and putting my interests like first more, because I just feel like I've always been a giver. Like I've always given people like 100% and always moved towards them with genuine intentions and I've always been the best friend to someone that I possibly could be to people. And as I've gone through life, I've just realised that people just aren't the same back. So for me, it changed me for the better in terms of I'm still that genuine person. I'm still the exact same girl I was, but I just know to put myself first a bit more. So I feel like that was a good thing that come out of it. And also I feel like as well, it made me realise with the whole knife incident that happened, that life is so short. So you can't spend your whole life putting everyone else first and not doing what makes you happy.
Yeah, of course.
And since then, it's just made me so much stronger in that way.
Have you had to like distance yourself from those people?
No, like we spoke about it and we sorted things, but I just know where I stand a little bit more now.
Yeah, because one thing that I said that I really loved, and I've seen it from lots of different people from lots of different aspects of life, is that they don't keep the friends that they used to have before they became who they are. Mm-hmm. And one thing I love about you is that when I see your socials, you still have those
It's
people.
all my goals from time ago. And you know what? Like, I'll always have my goals there from Birmingham and stuff, because for me, like, real friendship, connections and family is what's important over any money, any fame, anything. Like, materialistic stuff only gets you so far in life, but we're all heading in the same place. We're all heading in one direction. We're all going to die one day. Do you want to be sat on your deathbed surrounded by money and fame and no true friends, or would you want to be surrounded by people that love you? And that's what I think about. So for me, coming out of Love Island and before Love Island, coming out after Love Island, I was never ever going to stop chilling with the people I chilled with before, because for me, I had a good support system around me and like good mates and stuff. I'm still going through life and still figuring out my own stuff in friendships and that. But for me, like, I know who my ride or die girls are, and I'm not going to not hang around with them just because I've been on the show. Like, it's so shallow to anyone that does that. It's not real.
At the end of the day, they're the ones that helped you get through it.
Yeah, exactly.
And helped you get on it. Like my friends.
One of my mates was literally there, like, helping me record the audition tape. And they literally was there, like, all the way through. Do you know what I mean? For me, I'm not going to be like, yeah, thanks, bye. Like, I wouldn't even think of doing that. And I feel like they're the people that when I'm sad or when I'm down, I can have real conversations with about how I'm feeling. And there's no ulterior motive there.
I think one thing you did say, like, off camera, is sometimes this industry can be so bitchy.
Oh my God, so bitchy. And I've had very few friends in the industry, just because as much as someone likes you or may like you, they're always going to see you as competition in the same industry.
Or what can you give them?
Or what can I get from you?
Yeah.
So for me, like, it's very much, I keep it real. And I'll always, like, be pleasant with people. But my real friends, I keep it, like, close to me.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think that's one thing that I've always really respected about you, because, like you said, the industry can be so bitchy and people always have an ulterior motive. Whereas, you know, your original friends will never, because they have your best interest at heart.
I still have best friends in the industry, like me and Kaz. I consider Kaz as one of my homegirls as well. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, you struggled to open that bottle of Prosecco for time. I'll never forget that.
That's what we bonded over. That's literally what we bonded over.
I still remember meeting both of you and realising that I had a tissue stuffed down the back of my bikini. Them tents was so hot.
Oh my God, I know.
So I had that really disgusting
you
tissue
met me
hanging
and
out.
And we're like, who are these imbeciles that can't open this Prosecco? I'm thirsty.
Yeah, literally. I was like, oh my God, what is going on? But do you know what? So I did, you also on Instagram, like, I asked people what questions they would ask you. And a lot of the questions were about the person you're coupled up with on the show. And I bet that annoys you. Like, because it's coming up to 2 years, right? We'll have the second season coming soon after ours, like, and people are still asking about it.
Yeah.
Do you find that it impacts your relationships now, that people constantly asking about it?
No, it don't impact my relationships, because I've dated a few Jakes after as well.
Oh, okay.
No,
I mean, don't break a habit of a lifetime, right?
No, exactly. Many more men to give me a bracelet.
Preferably Cartier this time, please. Thank you.
Oh, it's just banter. No, you know what? Like, me and Jake are, like, completely on civil terms.
Yeah.
I don't talk to him, but if I see him, I'd wish him the best. Do you know what I mean? But it's weird because he feels like a distant memory now.
I feel like it was a long time ago.
I feel like there's no bad blood like on my side towards him anyway, because if something doesn't work out with someone, it teaches you lessons instead. And I probably was a lesson for him and he was a lesson for me.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like, as horrible as it sounds, it was a storyline. It worked out for you.
Yeah, but I didn't even see it like that then. For me, everyone was like, oh, was that a stage? Was that a stage? And I was like, no, like, I generally went down to the fire pit because I was gassed that my boyfriend just told me he loved me. Like, that was not a stage.
To be fair, like, when you're in it, it's not. But because I was watching it,
I was like,
this is mad. Because obviously I'd been in it with you guys.
You've only seen us happy.
Yeah, so I had a very different view. Because like when we were in there, we were like, you two were like the couple to look up to.
I didn't even realise how often he was calling me his girlfriend. I didn't realise that.
I did see a lot of like skits of it being made. So it was quite interesting. But
I remember him saying that to me, but I was just like, yeah, I know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I don't think the editing really helped, to be honest. But do you know what? Like, so I did get a lot of questions that are look, these are just the first 3 pages. So I got a lot. A lot of them were, why is she so fit?
Thank you.
Loads of things like that.
In the DM.
Yeah,
no, joking, don't.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't, so I won't reply. One of them was like, are you and Lib friends? No, we actually hate each other.
Yes, we don't talk. Sorry.
One of them was that, so I feel like this is a question you would be very good at answering.
Okay.
So a girl said that her bestie went from being very needy to being very distant and she doesn't respond at all. What should she do?
I feel like you've obviously done something. Not you, but she feels like there's a vibe from you that's obviously changed. And I think, have you spoke to her? Maybe you need a conversation to see what the problem is, because I feel like your gut instinct never lies. And if you're feeling that way towards her or whatever as well, and she's feeling that way towards you, then there's obviously an ongoing issue that needs to be discussed. But what I will say is sometimes it's not always you as to why they've gone distant. Sometimes they're going through their own things or their own battles, or sometimes sometimes people do naturally grow apart, but I'd say a conversation definitely needs to be had to see where you're both at and just be open and honest.
It's kind of, friendships are kind of a little bit like actual romantic relationships,
aren't they? They're so complicated. Honestly, like, I love all my girls, but there's been times in my life where there's been ups and downs, but everything just makes you stronger. And I've never lost a friend that I've wanted back.
That's a good piece. That's a good thing to say, to be fair. Look at her, she's standing going, preach. What is the best bit of girl advice you could give to anyone watching?
Okay, the best bit of girl advice I could give to anyone watching is please, please, please know your self-worth, because there's so many girls in relationships or even friendships, and I've done it myself, where I've put up with way too much and I look back and think, I was being made to feel like I was the problem, but it wasn't me. And I feel like you just need to go with your gut instincts and remember your self-worth, whether it's jobs, relationships, friendships, everything. And always make sure that if you want to be, girly advice, stick to a good girl code and stick to your moral compass, because too many people bend it to fit their own agendas and you don't want none of that in your life.
I agree. What would you say to those that are looking to go on reality TV or put themselves in the public eye?
I would say that obviously always go for your dreams, and if it's something you want to do, then you should just go for it and believe that you can do it, because it's all about a mindset and nothing is impossible. However, not everything's as glamorized as it may seem, and you need to be really mentally assured in yourself, and you need to be strong and have a good support system around you, because with every great blessing comes great burdens and responsibility.
You literally quoted Spider-Man.
Did I? I feel like I'm saying this.
I was thinking in my head, I was like, I've definitely heard this before. And I was
literally saying this. I was like, where have I heard this from before?
She's quoting Spider-Man. Here we go. Get yourself a girl that can do it all, hey. What do you think has been your favourite opportunity after being on Love Island?
Okay, I think my favourite opportunity has just been meeting so many different people from different walks of life. And I'm such a social person. Like, I just love talking to everyone and just hearing experiences and just meeting all kinds of different personalities and people, because I feel like you always learn something from people that are around you. And I feel like it grows me as a person as well.
Okay, yeah, amazing. On the flip side of that, what's your biggest regret from Love Island?
Ooh. I feel like in my journey on Love Island, I actually grew as a person, because that was the first time I ever said no to someone. Like, as in, no, I'm not standing for this, because before that I'd put up with so much. So I feel like I grew so much from that, and that was the start of my strength. But admittedly, even though I'm only human, I still doubt myself sometimes, and I still think I could be more confident in myself, and that's a journey that I'm still on, which started with me walking away that time.
Yeah.
So I'm still on that journey. So not so much a regret, but I'm still learning that.
I think the thing is, when I say to people confidence comes with age, I feel like the older you get, the less you care about what other people think about you.
Yeah, I feel like I don't necessarily care what people think. You know, tell a lie. Okay, so with me, I don't care about what people say about my looks, because for me, I'm quite used to that trolling, and I've never sort of held my looks in high regard anyways. And I've always said from day dot, which I still do, I lead with my personality. That's just who I am. Like, I will not lead with what I look like. It's not my foot I put forward. I put forward my personality and who I am. So I feel like I don't get bothered by what people say if they say you're ugly or you're this, you're that. But when someone says you're a horrible person, I'm bothered, because no, I'm not. Do you know what I mean?
The tone of voice changed just then, so you can tell. She literally went like proper Brummy then, like, I'm bothered.
I'm bothered, because I'm not. So I feel like that bothers me more. So I need to, I'm still learning. We're all human. We're all still learning. We're all still on a journey.
I agree. So the final question I'm going to ask you is, what would you say to somebody in your past or someone in your future that doubts your success based on the fact you're a young woman, that you're currently blonde, and
you might switch it up soon.
Yeah, and that you were on Love Island.
Okay, so what do you mean?
So, like, what would you say? We got distracted by the hair. So, like, what would you say to people that doubt your capabilities to be a successful woman?
Oh, okay. So if I was to like speak to my younger self, I would say stop crying over this dumb boy and leave the relationship sooner, because you've got a future ahead waiting for you that's brighter. If I was speaking to my future self, because I actually feel like I let someone affect me quite a lot on how I felt about myself, so I would never do that again. If I was speaking to my future self, then I would say, you've got this, but keep going, because I always strive for like more. I always push myself, and I'm like ambitious, and I've always been very work driven. So I feel like even when probably I'm at my point where I think, I've done all that I've wanted to do, I'll probably still say what's next. It's just built in me, that ambition and drive.
I don't think that's a bad trait to have, though.
No.
It depends. You got to let yourself rest.
I am always very much like, what's next? But I'm like that when I'm getting out the car. I forget my keys all the time because I'm like, what's next?
Do you know what? Someone did ask me, like, where are your car keys in the Instagram Q&A? And I was like, what?
Really?
Yeah, I think they're talking to you.
Me?
Yeah, do you always lose your car keys?
Yes.
Okay, that's to you then. I was like, what?
That's me.
But thank you so much for coming on, for being completely yourself and completely honest. I could see you tearing up a couple of times over there. I was like, please don't cry.
I feel like, when you feel like you've bared your soul, because I have been honest today, and I just feel like I've got everything out of my chest that I wanted to say. And hopefully this helps people out there, my experiences.
To be fair, I'm grateful for you coming on and bearing your soul. So
thank you guys. Thank you for having me.